Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
in the sphere. Come on.
New York State now allows doctors to kill its citizens.
Everybody that's in the White House is sea creatures and reptilian.
Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there's been having a good weekend, y'all. We got a good one coming up today, a good hour banger for your Sunday evening. Let's get into it. Let's have some fun.
They have until the year 2012 to get control over the portal system on this planet. If they don't do it by then, they're not going to have the opportunity to do it. So right now, between now and 2012, the intruders are trying to set up a couple of agendas here. Their first area of interest is in getting us under control on a mass level without us knowing it. Basically, they're setting up what's called a frequency fence. And they have studied for about, for maybe 30 years trying to figure out exactly what frequencies to use in order to harness our perceptions. Once we're under a frequency fence, they can project what's called a holographic insert. It's like a 5-sensory hologram. This could be a holographic insert, and we wouldn't know the difference if we were under a frequency fence. It makes a whole global population very easy to control. You can make them see, think, feel, or whatever, anything you want to. And that's one of the things the intruders are trying to do. The Guardians, of course, are having their counter strategy. This cannot be allowed to happen, because if it does, we have a problem when we pass through our double, because the grid vibrates too low, because the frequency fence hampers the resonance rate or the frequency rate of the planet, not just the people. So the Guardians have to get us out of this time continuum now. So we're in the process now of learning the energy techniques and how they apply to our body.
New York State now allows doctors to kill its citizens. Kathy Hochul was pretty excited about it. Watch her announcement.
We are now going to be making medical aid in dying available to New Yorkers. I believe we've crafted an elegant solution to a problem that people have fought for. My last thoughts were sitting in a Catholic funeral, and I heard the priest talk about being called home, and I realized we're not talking about ending life, we're about dying early.
We've crafted an elegant solution to the problem. Hey, I've got an idea. We can kill you. This idea came to me in church. Such a great time here at the funeral. How can more people experience this?
So it's like a suey?
If you think you know everything, you're guaranteed to be wrong about a whole bunch of stuff, because it's not a possibility that any human knows everything. This topic, we know there are transmogrification spirits. I think we also know there are beings that are fallen. They're interdimensional entities. Yep. I think that the Bigfoot stuff is one of those. I have some unique friends, but one of them is a translator for the DOD, original language translator. And so he hobnobs with very interesting people around very interesting topics. He says that Dulce, New Mexico has a Bigfoot in captivity that they've been doing tests on. Again, that's what he says. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But, what I have learned is I have been surprised enough in my life and wrong enough in my life that I'm never again going to disbelieve somebody just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'm never going to just say, well, that sounds strange. I don't believe it.
Sony's new patent, a controller that physically traps your ass, trap your finger when the character is grabbed in the game. Everybody, oh, I love that. I'm ready to play. Man, this shit straight out of a Black Mirror episode. They're going to be trapping y'all whole fucking bodies in these games soon. And then you're going to be ready to go, ready to quit, ready to get out. And I'm like, nope, you got your ass now. You locked in the game forever. Can't even leave that motherfucker. But nah, that Ready Player One though, that movie up, that shit real life. Feel like that's what they were trying to do with the metaverse. But they were spending so much money on the metaverse, Zuckerberg was running through billions trying to get y'all trapped inside Facebook. But what happened was they ain't ready for it yet. The world, they discombobulated right now. You gotta come back around probably like a year or two from now and try to catch them when they sleeping. But that's the next move though. Have motherfuckers, not just right now you own social media scrolling. Next step to be in social media, in video games.
These motherfuckers are putting on algorithms.
I like when you say
I'm sorry.
I know, I do like it.
They are instituting algorithms on social media sites, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or others, that we know for certain, because of congressional testimony, were leading to among teenage girls at an exponential rate, and they refuse to take them down because it makes them money.
This is amazing.
And the powers that be refuse to take them down because they pay them money, right? The first ones at the White House when there's a big signing, they're right there. Zuckerberg, all them, y'all.
Because our society.
But what he's saying is true.
Everything that pops in your life, social media, entertainment, it gives you sexuality, it gives you vanity, it infiltrates all the dark things it wants to seed in you. Who creates all that? Who creates programming? Who creates networks? Who creates the new fashion? Who creates everything? I can guarantee you it doesn't come from a safe, pure place. So we are born into a society that we only know, but the stronger-willed, deeper faith, deeper-hearted minds can see through it, even though they're infiltrated 24/7.
These Mandela effects are getting out of hand. I just discovered 2 new Mandela effects that twisted my childhood to a T. Now listen, I'm a Gen X. I lived through the greatest era, the greatest time period in history, and my memory, I don't forget anything. Emmanuel Lewis from that show Webster, you know, the show that tried to knock off different strokes. Emmanuel Lewis died years ago. But guess what? In this timeline jump, he's alive and well, and he's on TikTok. But this one, Michael Jackson's Thriller album, I know 200% very vividly. The cover has a tiger, a Bengal tiger on it with him.
Yeah.
But guess what? In this timeline, there's no tiger there. There is no tiger on the Thriller album. These Mandela effects are just getting out of hand and twisted.
Wasn't it a white tiger? If I'm not mistaken, on the Thriller, this was before my time, y'all. But I believe it was a white tiger, yeah? Or was it the regular orange with black striped tiger? Let me know down below. I know there's some Michael Jackson fans out there. We got some more clips of Michael Jackson coming up a little bit later.
Late age by the months. But if I told you the months was off? What if I told you that the months have been changed? What if I told you that everybody living now is younger than they tell them? What if I tell you that? And what if I told you that the fact that you think you become older is the fact where your body become older? What if I told you that? What if I could show you different calendars that does different things? You had a turtle calendar before? It was 13 months. It was 13 months. So if it's 13 months, and we count 12 months in a year, how old am I?
There at the Antique Mall in Round Rock off I-35, we bought a beautiful antique armoire. I mean, this stuff was like early 19th century. It was beautiful, heavy wood, bevel mirrors. We moved the stuff into our home, our rental that we were renting, and so my wife and I, just after we did that, we said, man, something didn't feel right in that house. And so the master bedroom door, if it wasn't closed all the way, if it wasn't shut, it would swing open by gravity.
Okay.
So I'm watching the news or something in the living room. My wife is getting fixed up in the bathroom. It was evening, and I hear her talking. This is before the use of cell phones.
So who's she talking to? Yeah.
I walk in the master bedroom and I'm looking, and now the door is starting to swing open, and she's not there. I'm like, so I said, hey, were you talking to me?
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, you had the door cracked open, and I thought it was you looking at me as I'm getting dressed.
But you stated that if it wasn't fully closed, gravity would move it open. So somebody was holding it. Okay.
And then enough to peek at her as she's dressing.
Like what they're doing to Jay-Z. Like what they did to Dre. Look, Michael Jackson just had the biggest biopic, right? The biggest biopic. $1 billion. What they do? They put a whole movie about him and the kids on Netflix.
Netflix not.
A dead man can't even get no peace. You know what I'm saying? It's everybody, bro. Everybody. Name one. Name one that's getting their flowers.
Hip hop.
And if you name one person getting their flowers, I'll name 1,000. That's not.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? I just feel like nobody get their flowers.
I think. You know what's crazy is they came out with the movie. I didn't know they did that Netflix documentary, but they did that Netflix documentary right when the movie dropped. And what's crazy is he was tried in the court of law and he wasn't convicted of it. Yet they're still doing these documentaries. We got countless people coming out. His bodyguard in the previous video coming out and saying, I was paid I didn't go with the money, but they wanted to pay me life-changing money to put these allegations on him. Like, and he countless times prosecuted, never prosecuted, but they're still putting out these documentaries right after a motion picture film, y'all.
Timelines again, y'all. Because when did Chick-fil-A going back to have a K instead of just a C? If you can remember, before CERN shut down, the word Chick-fil-A did not have a K in it. And I specifically remember it just having a C because everyone said we were crazy when we said the K was missing before. But now it's back. This, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the moon pie, have me 100% believing Mandela effects are real. And guess what? When they turn CERN back on, it's going to produce 20 times more collisions and 380 million Higgs bosons. So if you can, try to remember everything about this reality that
Write
you can.
it down. Take
and document
pictures.
it. Because when CERN gets turned back on in 4 years, things are going to be a lot different. Nothing's going to be the same. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
I remember going into Dad's room. This was in the 90s. Okay. I went into Mom and Dad's room. I was like, Dad, I got to talk to you about something. And he's like, what? I'm like,
Loch Ness.
No, learned about the moon landing today. And the flag didn't move. And so I, for sure, in grade school, I leaned conspiracy theorist. I thought the moon landing was a hoax.
You were a flat earther?
I was a flat earther.
No, I'm just kidding.
I recovered. But that was a great hoax back in the day. Like, why did that come out? Who decided to say, okay, you guys, this moon landing didn't happen? And then it spirals.
The moon,
It's still a current day.
The moon landing being fake is still very much a thing. Doesn't necessarily mean you're a flat earther.
No, it just means you don't know if did we really make it to the space race.
Well, dude, someone just fucking got into a argument was challenging the Challenger, the Artemis crew.
The Artemis crew, yes, they were being challenged
Calling
by
them
someone
liars.
saying that put your hand to the Bible and say that you didn't really go around the moon. So conspiracy theories are still alive and well. Again, back in the 90s, they were more
fun,
cozy. Yep, more cozy.
Loch Ness,
less
he's just
scary.
swimming around.
Loch Ness.
I think we are up to our waist right now in it.
In what?
In the suction of the devil.
Oh, right.
In the suction of something deviant, in the suction of the dark arts, man. I believe that it is. We think we just have nice pants on, but we don't realize that we've invited these skins of we've invited something. There's something very demonic going on. Do you think technology is inherently demonic?
Oh my God. I mean, okay. So first, let's define demonic.
Okay.
So what is your definition of demonic?
With intent to harm, demonic. I would say of Satan's will.
Yeah.
With intent to be a succubus to the godliness to the nature and morality and godliness that that exists inside of us as a group and as individuals.
Okay, so
does that make sense or not?
Did you have Bishop Robert Barron on your show yet?
No, cool guy.
You gotta have him on.
BRB.
Yes.
Damn, dude.
You guys will hit
crazy though.
You guys
crazy initials to have.
Yeah, he's really cool. He was
sign him up. All right, Zach.
I had him on my podcast, and what's really interesting is actually having him on my podcast got me more interested in Christianity than any other time in my life. And the reason was not necessarily what he told me, though. He's a really cool guy, and obviously he's brilliant. He's a bishop, and he's obviously a theologian, and
he's Orthodox.
Is technology demonic? It can be, but we have choices, just like everything else. We have a choice if we want to go rob a store, or we have a choice if we want to go purchase the item. We have a choice, and there's consequences to those choices. We can sit here and watch, I'm very right now into homestead, watching people homestead, right? So I'm on TikTok or Facebook, all my stuff is homestead. And it can change in the blink of an eye if you want it. These girls that the Biden dude was talking about, offing themselves at dramatic rates, they're watching certain things. They have the choice. They don't have to watch those things. You know what I mean? We don't have to watch chicks dancing. We don't have to watch women going after men for money. We don't have to watch these things. We can watch. It's a choice at the end of the day. It really is. What algorithm is on our phone is our choice. Now, yes, it's designed to take you the negative route. That's what it's designed to, the algorithms to lead you that way. But at the end of the day, we still have a choice to look at the right thing. We still do.
I'm telling you, man, we jumped timeline. Like, it's been so many crazy things happening, like, within the last couple days. This was album covers has been changed. Like, that albums that's been made, like, years ago. So, I don't know if y'all seen it yet, but, like, on 65 North in Alabama, a lot of people taking pictures of this portal, look black smoke. Looks like it came out of a portal. Looked like demonic or something. Like, I don't know if that's some type of firework they made or what, but that junk looked crazy, and it looked like it's coming out of a portal. It's on TikTok. You can probably look it up, too. The next thing is Venezuela having a pure red sky. Sky was pink in Alabama, and also in the United Kingdom. But the next thing I also just found out is that the singer D'Angelo, I remember him passing away like 2 months ago. And now I'm saying that he passed away last year. And yes, it feels like time is going slower now. And we all pretty much found out that they're turning off CERN, you know, for like the next 4 years. And the next time it'll be like in 2030. And that is a wild year that we're expecting. Bro, it's too much going on right now.
GTA 6 is going to come out, right? People are going to be living in that game. We're not in some type of video game right now. We are in a very hyper intelligent computer only because of things like coincidences, of things like when we're seeing the emergence of quantum mechanics, quantum physics. How do we know that we're not in some type of video game right now? Because think about this. 6 is going to come out, right? It's supposed to be the most intelligent, most efficient game ever. People are going to be living in that game. There's going to be people making a living. Yeah. Correct. Now, going back to the gateway process, to what they said, our reality is nothing but a hologram projection. That sounds like a video game to me. That sounds like a simulation. So when I say simulation, I don't think in terms of a traditional computer per se. I think this is more of a realm that was created by an entity that is a project. Now, if you want to go way down that rabbit hole, I can take you. Let's talk about it. Okay. So this is a prison planet to where we are genetically engineered beings because 90% of our DNA is junk DNA. Now with this disclosure, I think that they know that there's other entities that we've been spliced with that's most of our DNA.
We're all pissed. We're all, we all thought that, all that stuff was going to be released right after the election. We're going to drain the swamp and find all the pedophiles. And
I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what it is.
Well, it would have been a whole lot different. First of all, if we didn't bomb Iran. I feel like we bombed them the first time, we were good. The second time was like, even the first time I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
And then when they were saying like, this is it, the escalation's over, we're going to work this out, like, oh, phew.
Yeah.
And the second time when we bombed them, I was like, oh, fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and most people don't want it. That's the real problem. Most people in the country don't want it. Now, look, I'm no fucking foreign policy expert. I don't know what's going on over there, but I do know that all the people I know that really support Israel above everything else, they're fucking super happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but all the people I know that are like America first, or people that are like no new wars, that really thought that we're going to change things, and this is all just for money. We're not going to sacrifice soldiers for fucking money. Those people are all upset.
See, it's a divide and conquer thing. That is by design. That's not organic. It's not organic that one side's for it and one side's against it, and none of them agree that this shouldn't be going on. Right? The one side that's for it is because the other side's against it, and that is all by design, y'all. But someone from the outside looking in, what have they got to do with us? Have they done any terroristic things? We got a clip coming up of Trump. An assassin, for the nation is supposed to, he's got a bounty on his head. When I saw that was BS. Who told him that? Those boys, the ones that run the industry, they're the ones that gave him the heads up. Hey, these people. So you think we're gonna get out of war if they put a bounty on his head with his ego?
Rappers, they get these tattoos because their manhood was stripped from them, and when they get these tattoos, it makes them feel like masculine again, because in the industry they break you down. They strip away everything that's morality in your eyes. They take it all from you. That's why these celebrities, they be strung off drugs, they be high off pills and smoking all day, because they don't want to have to think about all the stuff that they had to do to get where they at today.
People can't.
You know, and a lot of them are very feminine. The Kevin Gates, very feminine when you watch him talk, right? He comes off like standing militant, looking around, but when he starts talking, he does things with his hands like 50 Cent, very feminine, right? And I was fans of Kevin Gates, 50 Cent, you know, Post Malone, very weird with their body language when they're talking, very feminine, you know what I mean? And these are the ones that mislead the youth to the max, y'all. You know, they mislead the youth, and when you see them on interviews or, you know, just talking, like, they're not that, you know, or I don't know, they're just feminine, maybe because all these tattoos, what happened to why they're getting those tattoos, like this guy said, to look more masculine and all that. I don't know, but when they talk, you know, a lot of feminine talking with their hands like this, and it's a weird thing, y'all. Don't clip that.
For groceries, and here he is bragging about taxpayers paying for luxuries. It's not the flex he thinks it is. This is going viral right now on Mike Rowe, the Way I Heard It podcast.
Like, my life is, dude, totally transformed. I don't go to the grocery store anymore. People go to the grocery store for me. Most of my meals, like when I cook a meal, it's like, I love to cook, actually. Big baker. I like to cook for my kids as a special occasion, but I don't have to cook anymore because I've got an army of people who are willing to like cook me my food. My life is
They're willing to cook you your food, or it's taxpayer funded. You know what I mean?
so weird. I fly around on a 757, no more TSA lines for me and the kids. It's so weird, but it can become the sort of thing that if you internalize it, you start to be an entitled asshole.
You start to be an entitled asshole. This guy had Disney World shut down. What is he talking about? Just remember, he's got health care paid for by us. We don't have health care. We pay for him to be able to cook muffins and bake goods with his family, right? We pay for that. This super trashy way that they're running office with Donald Trump robbing from the National Park Services in order to paint new columns on the White House and build his ballroom and reflecting pool algae nonsense. Just remember, they're not treating it as if we pay for it. That's the people's house. He works for us. What did Obama always say? Don't boo, vote, right? You can boo these guys all you want, but in the end, we just got to vote. We got to show up in numbers to kick them the fuck out of office.
What the fuck?
It's so crazy, y'all. But does this guy realize they're doing it too? Obama's doing it too? Does he realize? You think Obama's paying out of his pocket for everything? Like, this is what's wrong with people. But maybe this guy's paid for by the left. I don't know who he is. I didn't know he was going to go that route. I thought he was just going to play the clip or whatever. But like, this dude, you're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. That dude is part of the problem. You're just doing more division. Let's get our guys in. We're going to win. This is going to stop. No, they're still riding private. They're still all getting rich. Pelosi, all of them, y'all, they're all getting rich off our taxpayer dollars, insider trading. Until this changes, nothing is going to change, y'all. Until the people that come, there's a lot of people on the right that had Trump, had JD Vance on their podcasts. A lot of them are starting to say both of them are garbage. Theo Vaughn, Cameron Haynes, a lot of people are starting to say, they're full of crap. This guy's not. He's saying, let's get them in. You know what I mean? I can go on for days.
Isn't it funny how they went from
ramble,
we're going to lower the prices of groceries on day one, to here we are a year and a half later, and now they're saying, look, you go to the feed store, you get a big bag of oats, you portion it out, and you can eat off that bag of oats for 20 cents a meal. I mean, you can eat off that for at least a month. What are you bitching about?
I mean, how much is your
Treat
water
yourself
cost?
to a little liver and onions.
And Congress is like,
We're gonna go through some pain.
Perfectly good sense.
Yeah.
We should be doing.
See, just by judging these people look like they were supporters of Trump. You know what I mean? They're fed up with this, and they're definitely not going to go to the left now because of that. They're definitely not going to support the left. Now they're done. They're done with the nonsense, right?
And then RFK says, what about the child penises? It's been a week since we've talked about the penises.
He did talk about raw milk this week.
Right. I mean, it's all fucked.
Speaking of another overqualified person.
RFK. Jesus Christ.
You know that rap fell off the top 40? 8 months ago, there was a big story. Rap music was not on the Billboard top 40 for the first time since the 1990s. How strange. And then we talked about this the other day. Lizzo launched an album and only sold 2,650 albums. Whew, mio mayo. Could it be that all of it was fake? I think so.
Here's Bill Gates in 2010.
Is spending $1 million on that last 3 months of life for that patient, would it be better not to lay off those 10 teachers and to make that trade-off in medical costs? But that's called the death panel, and you're not supposed to have that discussion.
There's Bill Gates making the math-based argument that, hey, is it really worth it? You've got this old person who's dying, and all attempts to revive him and keep him alive are fruitless and stupid because he's not a billionaire. He doesn't have adrenochrome. It's not worth keeping that guy alive. That's money that could be spent on teachers. But you don't hear Bill Gates say, well, you know, it costs $4 million for a single Patriot missile. It cost over $1 billion for a Patriot missile battery. We seem to be handing those out to Israel and Ukraine every week. Maybe that money could be spent, I don't know, on education. You never hear that because it's killing people, and killing people makes them feel powerful.
The gnomes, they were in charge of the genealogies, the knowledge, and the technologies, and they would kidnap people.
People say they are responsible for taking people through portals, disappearances, missing 411.
So when we look at the different types of elves, these are the dark elves. White elves are part of the pale white bloodline. It's an allegory for the giants. So when they show up in the Lord of the Rings, these are the royal elves. They have these very pale skin. They have red hair, blue eyes.
Are these genetic offspring of the Watchers, or are they going to be part of what we consider to be sort of like the angelic race?
They would be subject to the same issues that the giants. When their body dies, that spirit is released. It doesn't go to heaven.
So there's like a vast variety of demons.
It's the elementals that are obsessed with DNA and keeping their bodies alive, whereas the giants disappeared into our race.
When the magnetic field collapses, they expect temporary reanimation of recently deceased organic matter. In other words, zombies. The military has a guide on how to survive a zombie apocalypse, and most people think it's a joke. But the first line of the program, quote, "This plan was not actually designed as a joke." Former Marine Sergeant Jim Sparks says he was part of a classified exercise in 2009, codenamed Broken Mirror. It simulated a massive solar flare, triggering electromagnetic anomalies worldwide. Sparks says his unit trained to contain biological entities of unknown origin, entities appearing during the event. So many governments of the world, including our own, fear that our weakening shield means the next storm won't just turn off the lights, it could turn on the dead.
What's coming will be a type and shadow of a 9/11 event. Everything changed within a 24-hour period. I keep telling you all this. Everything changed, and the Lord said, there's another major event that's about to change everything.
Question for you, 2028. Who do you have winning the presidential election?
Everybody that's been the last
Be a Democrat.
Presidents, no one ever expected or thought. But without a doubt, this election is going to be unlimited money. My race in 22 cost about $325 million. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Who's funding that? Where's that coming from?
That's money, unlimited money to destroy someone's reputation.
Oh my God.
And in 24, a Senate race hit $500 million. Now, 26, watch what those numbers are in 26.
Giants. You know, y'all, I get a lot of emails now. I love getting them of people wanting to start channels. They're asking questions. Like, start doing it now. That way, by the time this election comes, if you want to get into politics, y'all, I'm thinking about starting something, right? I'm not really into politics, but you gotta get with what's working. If you really want to do YouTube, y'all, it's calling it selling your soul, whatever, selling out, whatever. At the end of the day, we're on here to make a living, right? But this next presidential race, y'all, there's going to be craziness happening in the streets, or maybe another shutdown. Something crazy is going on, y'all. Something crazy is going to happen this election year, and start now. That way, in a couple of years, you're already well off on your channel because it takes time.
Are indeed real. There's something called the Niagara Papers that were written by Abraham Lincoln, where he wrote about the extinct giants that are buried in the burial mounds all across America. 2015, me and my homies was looking for a place where we could buy some land and grow weed on it. We were trying to get the medical marijuana license and all of that. We ended up in Winnemucca, Nevada. In Winnemucca, Nevada, they have a museum. In that museum, they had gigantic bones in the museum. If you go back there today, they're gone. The locals say, yeah, they tried to tell us the bones were never there, but we seen them. We got photos. Smithsonian comes in and takes all of the bones. I sent you a photo of a guy in Turkey. See that? Let me put that up. A guy in Turkey, he finds a giant bone. I got several other articles because see, I study. I go to libraries. Any city that I show up to, I'm gonna make time, go to the library, and look at their archives of newspaper articles. But now everything's been digitized. You can type in what you're looking for, and it's gonna pop right up. They've been finding giant bones since the 1600s.
So what were they like us, just big?
I'll say this. There have been multiple different hominids, bipedal, except for Homo sapiens sapien, which is us, that existed on this planet. We coexisted with them. The Younger Dryas cataclysm erased a lot of that. The issue is, if you look at the depictions of Gilgamesh, he's carrying a lion like it's a pet cat.
Like a kitten almost.
A kitten. Then you see Hillary Clinton asking in emails for the location of his burial chamber. So that kind of confirms that this person wasn't just a myth, that he existed. In the Bible, you got the story of Samson and Goliath. Then you got the story about the Kandahar giant. Then you
the
see
Kandahar giant is the one that the American military had like a battle against.
100%. And one of those guys,
Afghani.
One of those guys works on my security team in America. So I know that happened. They don't want us to know this because I feel like it's a Pandora's box situation. Once they confirm something like that,
where do you start now?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now everything is coming.
Okay guys, pretty crazy news. Trump has just left instructions in case he is assassinated by Iran. But what makes this interesting is that this is not even the first time he's spoken about this subject in the past few days. So 2 days ago at the NATO summit, he said that he's #1 on the kill list for Iran and that he might be gone. The next day, the Wall Street Journal, they report that Israel had recently shared intelligence with the US indicating that Iran had developed a fresh new assassination plot targeting Trump. And then today, he told the New York Post that he's left instructions to literally bomb the hell out of Iran at levels they've never seen before if they somehow succeed in killing him. And then he joked, "I hope you'll miss me." And how do we know that Iran actually wants him dead? Well, they didn't beat around the bush at all. This was literally one of the signs they held up in the last few days at the burial site of Iran's late supreme leader, and this one as well. So, yeah, pretty wild stuff.
And this is could be AI, but that's scary. Like, he doesn't care about us, right? Bomb the hell out of pretty much Duke Nukem them. Pretty much. If they get me, screw everybody. I want them done. No matter, I don't care what that does. I'm not here no more. Who cares? Like, that's kind of what I get from that. You know what I mean? But I think he's got more to worry about on his streets in America. He's a touchy subject, but I mean, there's already been 2-3 attempts on him. You know what I mean?
Scary, because I'll explain to you what an accelerationist is. An accelerationist does not believe there's a political solution to save the white race. They believe that society is going to collapse on its own or from man-made events, and they want to speed it up, hence accelerate it. But their belief system, they call siege culture. James Mason is a longtime white supremacist, wrote a book called Siege. Don't go buy it or try to, because you'll probably show up on the FBI's list. But it's basically a lot of interviews.
Google it.
Yeah, no, well, you can Google it. No, you can Google it. You know, yeah.
All right. I don't want to get
just say I'm Scott Payne researching. Yeah. But it's called Siege, and it's basically a bunch of interviews, and he puts it together in a book. But this guy idolizes like Charles Manson, other satanic stuff. But the big thing, the shift is, look at Charlottesville. You had everybody marching down the street with picket signs, yelling racial stuff, and the siege culture does not do that. The siege culture thinks that's a waste of time. You're not doing any good for anything, and you're making yourself a mark, a target. Siege culture looks at guerrilla warfare tactics. We're going to stay hidden. We're going to cause chaos through maybe you kill a lefty journalist, maybe you kill an Antifa type, non-whites, blacks, Jews, poisoning water systems, taking down power supplies, derailing trains, anything to kick off.
What do you think's a bigger hoax? The whole climate thing or the whole race thing? If you really just stood back and looked at
the climate
thing has fucked up Germany and Europe and the globe. I will say that. The race thing has fucked them up too, though, because now they got a lot of Muslims in there and they got issues.
Yeah, but the race thing is strictly that you can't talk about things in a nuanced way. What's
that mean?
Like you can't talk about race. You can't go. Well,
they talk about. They never stop talking about.
No,
race.
no. It's just all this or all that. You're all.
It's caused a lot of damage, though.
Yes.
Is what I was
it has.
saying.
Yes, they've caused equal damage, probably.
There's an emotional side to it, too.
They shut down nuclear plants in France. They shut them down in Germany. They build these crazy windmills that destroy the sea life. I mean, it just damaged so much. It the economies up.
Yeah,
really was bad.
I'm just playing devil's advocate, but the race hustling has gotten a lot of people killed.
Yeah.
Climate didn't actually. I mean, it kills some people in that they freeze to death or whatever during the winter or whatever it is. But race stuff's got a lot of people killed. I've made a lot of people miserable too.
I'm
just saying, you step back. It's the race. By the way, it's the same side that believes both things and are pushing both things that are destroying things.
But let's look at the climate. Climate is changing. Humans may have nothing to do with it. You're not allowed to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Race issues have existed.
Mm-hmm.
They were awful. And that's true. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So the existence is factually so. You know what I mean? It's based on something real.
But if you broaden out climate and you get to what we used to call ecology, there were Hudson rivers and things that were unusable and they got cleaned up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there was actual stuff.
Oh, yes.
And
I was part of that.
You were part of that. You and Kennedy. Robert Kennedy Jr. did a lot of that stuff. And so
I didn't do it the way he did. He really did it. I mean, I was just sort of a cheerleader.
Yeah. So, no, you don't do stuff, Drew.
No.
But you do cheer on those who do.
It's true.
That's every bit as important.
Every bit, I'm telling
you.
The
guy up at the top of the stands at the Super Bowl is every bit as important as the quarterback on that team.
Yeah.
Do you know that, Drew?
Yes, he is.
And you are the guys not quite in the stadium, but every bit as important as that guy's taking the snap from the center.
I'm sitting home with my Doritos.
You're sitting home eating, and you're every bit as important.
Yep.
Understand?
That's Brady, yeah.
Right.
Conor McGregor got humiliated in one of the most scripted ways possible, where he supposedly blew out his knee. I mean, come on. We've already seen once before with Conor McGregor in a, off the wall injury, and now we see it again, even though this is all part of the script. This is all nothing more than another humiliation that you are watching 3 days before his birthday. This fight took place. And of course, he has to lose yet again. You can't make any of this up if you tried. This was an absolute joke of a fight. You can't even call it a fight, honestly. It's just so laughable how scripted all of these sports are. UFC is no different than the WWE.
It's such a joke, y'all. I didn't watch it. We went for a drive with the kids last night, but it's also a money grab. Like, think about how many people signed up for Paramount. How many people, I guess I saw some TikTok, this dude paid like $3,000 for nosebleeds for the tickets. And it was like, this guy hasn't fought, I don't know how long, 10 years he hasn't fought? Fighting against a guy that's still fighting. It's like a money grab. Just not too long ago, he was doing the powder, all roided out. His jaw's all going in videos. He's all on roids. Like, fighting, it's combat sports is starting to become a joke, y'all. Boxing's a joke. This is starting to become a joke. They need money. They're just trying to get money. That's it. They don't care about promote. They just want money. The new way isn't working, right? We don't want to see these new fighters. No one's watching. Like when McGregor was at his peak, people were watching, y'all. It was organic. Now we got this guy with sunglasses and a bandana talking about Michelle Obama's this. Like, it's not authentic. You can tell it's just, this guy's just trying to sell himself to get, and people fall for it, I guess. But like McGregor, when he was talking crap, y'all, he was a professional. Chael Sonnen, he was a professional, y'all. They were good. They were funny. It was authentic. That's who they were. But now these people that try to come out to sell fights, like, it's fake. You know what I mean? It's just fake.
Language I created over a year ago called Creekage that I made up with my friends while we were hanging out in PE, because we needed a language to speak to each other with personally, and I needed a language for my book.
Gotcha.
So I decided that I could knock two birds out with one stone, so I created this. It's inspired by Chinese symbols and Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Okay.
Boys waking up. Sorry, I
That's
keep
kinda
looking at
like
my
a
phone.
paragraph you wrote in the language, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. This is the AM project. And what this says is, it's not finished yet, but what this says is, the All-Mother is a bird-like creature that lives in an underground continent. Ooh, we need to take that. We need to take that.
It's good.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
In the sphere.
Come on.
Okay, hold on. I saw so much shit in the movie, The Wizard. So we all know the story to where like he's a facade, but he's giving the lion like the courage and the, you know, the brain for the scarecrow and all that, right? For the scarecrow, he says, hey, okay, I need a brain, right? And he's like, well, I'll give you a diploma so you can be smart. He gives him the diploma and he's all smart again. And right. And it shows that once he gives the diploma, he says, oh, you know, this is your diploma for X, Y, and Z, e pluribus unum. I'm like, hold on. Now, if people don't know what e pluribus unum means, it's on the back of your dollar. E pluribus unum, from one comes many. Sounds like a cult. From one comes many.
And they're also teaching you need a diploma to be smart.
Exactly. Right.
So there's that. Propaganda. I mean, that's early Hollywood propaganda.
Yeah. I find it interesting that, yes, he said that. And I'm like, wait, e pluribus unum. Okay. Then he gives him a diploma. And like how you said, to be smart, you have to graduate and all this other stuff. So speaking of ancient Latin, doctor, does anybody know what that really means? Because when you get a degree, like a doctor or whatever, so doctor in Latin, docere, is actually the root word for docile, for document, indoctrinate. They're all related. So to become a doctor, get a degree, you're indoctrinated now.
And you're docile.
The movie's based on the Federal Reserve.
Oh, shit.
You guys know the real kind of undertone of Wizard of Oz, right?
It's based on the Federal Reserve.
Yes. Dorothy.
Dorothy!
She goes on the yellow brick road, right? Gold. Oz. What is Oz and gold? O-Z.
Ounce.
She's going to see the Wizard of Oz now. Think about the characters. Cowardly Lion, okay?
Okay.
You have the Tin Man. Then you have Scarecrow. Now, when the Federal Reserve was established, private entity, it's a bank owned by other banks. Now, when they created this new system, they had to monetize us. When they give your name to you, they give you your name in all caps, which means you're an entity, which is a straw man.
Okay.
What is Scarecrow?
Straw man.
A straw man.
With a straw plan.
Think about Tin Man, TIN.
Tax identification number.
There you go.
Oh, shit.
There you go. Shit. In which your social security number has 9 numbers. What else has 9 numbers?
Bank account.
Your bank account. A QSIP number, which how you identify a stock number, also has 9 numbers. And the Red Shoe Club too. Dorothy, Red Shoes, the Red Shoe Club.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it gets deep.
Everybody.
It's crazy, y'all. Like business, like when you get your EIN, it's like it's its own social security. Like when I got my vehicle, the tax dude told me to get my vehicle. Like I bought the vehicle under my business's like EIN social security number. And then I co-signed my own vehicle so I can get that low interest rate because I got a good credit score, right? So it made me think like, God, this is like its own entity, right? It's a trip how it all works.
In the White House is sea creatures and reptilian. So this is a diversion. They giving you, think about how they put people on TV to eat crawfish and lobster. They make it as like a game. It's a game. And they're feeding you, and what they're gonna do, it's like what I heard when I downloaded the message was that it's gonna suppress your body. So when they do, these sea creatures come out of the ocean in the waters and they come out intact like the Pirate Caribbean. Think about how they came up in the ship and they were half human and half, octopus and whatever else, on their body, shells and stuff. So when they attack you, it's supposed to let down your defense mechanism and shut your body down. That's what the mercury does. So when I was a kid, I saw ghosts. I told my brothers, my cousins was the only ones that knew. It was growing up in the 80s, again, at that time, very religious. You can't talk to that because in the Bible and while you're preaching, not to talk to ghosts, not to do this, not to do that, don't contact them. You know, that was all an illusion to block you from contact.
Called foglets. It's basically nanotechnology. You can create anything. You can create mountains. You can create clouds. There's military escorting these people in Mexico. They got ambushed by like these guys in not U.S. uniforms, but they're American. They had all the military equipment, Black Hawks, all this stuff. They take the guy out, the military guy.
Brutally.
They load these people up in a crate, a container, attach it to a helicopter, and they're flying. And the U.S. satellites saw this whole incident take place. These generals are talking like, did you send an ops team to do this? Or no, it's a black on black. Special operations against special operations. Very purposeful, creepy stuff. They send 2 fighter pilots to come like basically like tell them, hey, you guys gotta go land.
Yep.
All of a sudden there's a mountain. And this guy's going supersonic speed. His electrical system goes out. He ejects going at supersonic speed. Other pilot saw this happen. His electrical system goes out. He crashes. But before they crash, they see this helicopter fly into the mountain. They said it was 3D, then 2D, then completely transparent.
The Clintons,
bananas.
He was the governor of Arkansas when they were running drugs out of Mena, Arkansas to fund the Contras.
Barry Seals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton was the governor of that state. Bill Clinton reads a book called, it's a famous book by Carol Quigley, I believe called Tragedy and Hope. And it's a history of the 20th century or something. It's this compendium. It's Bill Clinton's favorite author. He reads this book and he's, attends the, Bohemian Grove. He's selected by very wealthy, powerful people to then become a party elder and a leader. And many people believe, myself, is that in order to be selected by that group of people to run for the highest office in the land, they have something on you.
Yeah.
You're to some degree compromised. You've shown willingness to play the game. You've looked the other way, at the very least. Maybe you've engaged, but at the very least, if somebody goes, something's going on in Mena, Arkansas, you go, don't have time for it. And you've shown the willingness to play the game.
Yes.
And so he's the governor of a very small state that isn't, Arkansas is a beautiful state and there's whatever, but he's not, he's not like running a huge state. He's not, a well-known politician. He's a very charismatic, very great speaker, great politician, but from a very small state. He's then elevated very quickly to the standard bearer of the Democratic Party after tons of allegations about inappropriate behavior with women, credible allegations of rape from Juanita Broderick, being the governor during that whole Mena, Arkansas thing. It's well known that there are skeletons in the closet.
It's a good guy that's going to play the game for you.
1910 was when they stopped teaching about the ether in schools because the ether was the secret to free energy. They harnessed it through large buildings destroyed after World War I, as the ether could electrically charge you just like your food, which is why they remove seeds from fruits. Seeds hold a frequency that charges your body. Without them, fruit is lifeless. Everything has a frequency, so prioritize seeded, alkaline fruits to keep disease away. Finally, practice grounding. It boosts your frequency by letting the Earth's electrical impulses flow through your body. Skip man-made fruits that lower your vibration and stick to high-frequency seeded options to charge your body.
I thought I was joking years ago when I said this shit. I'm like, nobody thinks this is crazy. Who is doing the accounting for this Girl Scout shit? They generate billions.
Like, have you ever met anyone that works for the Girl Scouts?
Y'all laughed at me when I said this years
my
ago.
mom worked for the Girl Scouts. Like, where's their staff?
Nobody.
Is one person making this?
Nobody thinks this is crazy that in 4 months they're making $800 million every year. And selling cookies door to door. First of all, that's slavery.
It's child labor.
It's child labor. What are we talking?
And unsafe.
Like, what are we talking about? I know adults selling these shit at their job. I'm like, yo, who's your plug? Your daughter?
No, that's what it was.
Where are you getting these grown ass ladies selling Girl Scout cookies at her 9 to 5
for a little badge? They get a badge if they win.
800 million a year.
If you end up like netting $20,000 worth, they give you like a tent or something like. I feel like I've seen like a max. If you sell this,
you're gonna
amount,
need that
you
tent
get-
to live in. If you fucking keep selling this shit.
Yeah, you go to.
Yeah, think about it, y'all. I saw on the news just recently, like some Girl Scout did something crazy, like sold 150,000, maybe more dollars worth of Girl Scout cookies, and she got a trip to Niagara Falls. Now, she didn't live in California and got flown all the way over there. She lived like down the street from Niagara Falls, and that's what they gave her. Like, to me, y'all, I don't know what they do. I don't know where the money goes. I know all of the money doesn't go to where they say it's going. Like, I said something about the Boy Scouts, how, I went in front of the Walmart out here, and they were selling a bag of popcorn for like $40. I kind of made the comment on here, like saying like, that's a scam. Like, kind of like, I wouldn't have my kid asking people to buy a bag of popcorn for $40, maybe like $10. Right? That's okay. $10. You know what I mean? It's a little more than you can go in the store and buy it, but it's to help a young organization. Man, I got so much comments back at that, but it's true. Like, I would not want my kid out there asking people for their hard-earned money for a $40 bag of popcorn that costs like $2. Where's that money going?
For real, you're going into almost like a third world country / situation.
I don't know who this kid
It's
was.
not like all these people have it figured out. It's not like everybody's super healthy or has, it's, I don't know.
You can have the Monopoly dude monocle, no monocle situation. The Fruit of the Loom cornucopia, no cornucopia situation. Berenstain Bears. I'm fine with all that. I've accepted all of that. But leave the Safe Light theme song, jingle, whatever, alone. It's always going to be safe light repair, safe light replace.
Shaq used to play for the Orlando Magic. He would go through Terror on Church Street pretty often. One night where North Carolina was there playing, Shaq and Jason Kidd walking downtown Orlando. They went through the haunted house and they had 80s with them. I jumped out and scared the group. I was dressed as a wolf man. Shaq was in the front, one person in front of him. He tossed her to the side and he fell backwards, which made the whole group fall down like dominoes, going over top of swiping, right? And he's crab crawling over the people that are with him.
Where are you from originally?
Raised in Harford County, Maryland.
When did you move to Dallas?
Maryland. I went to Orlando 8 years or so. 2001, I moved from Orlando to Texas for a girl. A year-round haunted house there in Orlando called Skull Kingdom. Monsters have always been my life. I wanted to be a year-round haunted house person. I would take my 2 weeks of vacation. I would go somewhere else in the country and work at a big haunted house. 2001, worked at a haunted house in Dallas. Everything went black and white. She walked in with a group of friends. God said, pay attention. I jumped out and scared the group. I was dressed as a wolf man. I was going to marry her the moment I saw her.
They don't want to hear the truth. We're all watching our football games, all our baseball games, all the ball games. They're all based on a ball. Baal was a part of the ancient worship of the Phoenician Canaanites and what we call the land of Canaan. The land of Canaan is what we call today Israel. Isis, Ra, and El. The three names of the sun gods of the ancient Middle East. Israel. Israel was originally called the land of Canaan. People would go to worship their God on Sunday because they were worshiping the sun, called Baal, B-A-A-L, and that's because the sun was a ball. It's a round ball, and so therefore, they would go to their worship the god Baal. In front of the big statue of Baal was a pool. And in the pool, they would pour oils into the pool and fill it up and then light it. So there was a big fire in front of the God, Phoenician Canaanite system. Then to be able to show God that you loved him, you have to throw your into the pool of fire. So here's what's interesting. Because when the fire was finally put out, the priest of Baal had to eat. So they were Baal worshippers eating humans.
Okay, so this right here is something that went away during the pandemic and then just never returned. Late night Walmart runs, where Walmart used to have 24/7 stores all around the country, which began in the late 1980s but stopped in 2020. But despite the pandemic long being over, Walmart hasn't returned to that and made no plans. I'm just wondering why. diving into this, we got to go back to the year 1962 and know that Walmart, when they first opened, was a very different place than it is now, with the big differentiator being they didn't actually sell grocery store items, where Walmart instead focused on products like TVs, refrigerators, and lawnmowers, and they oftentimes had the lowest price of anywhere in the area. And the reason why Walmart wanted to avoid grocery in the first place is because grocery doesn't actually have that high of profit margins, where 20% of all produce is thrown away, 15% of baked goods are tossed, and then 5% of canned goods are expired before they can ever sell them. So because of that, there's only a 1.5% profit margin on grocery store items sold versus items like lawnmowers or TVs, which have about 20 to 30%. In the 1970s, as Walmart began expanding, they began to realize that people were only going to stores that sold lawnmowers or TVs or more expensive items when they directly needed them. But on the other hand, grocery was something they went to very often, with the average person going to a grocery store 83 times a year. So because of that, Walmart made the intention to start selling low perishable grocery store items like soda and other canned goods, where the goal was they'd sell them at way lower prices than what grocery stores were charging, because the hope was people would go in and buy them and then buy socks and other items that they had much higher profit margins on. And it actually got really big, where it started making up 40% of all their revenue. Because of that, by 1988, Walmart makes the decision to go full in on grocery stores, launching their first ever Walmart Supercenter in Kansas, which was way bigger than any other grocery store in the country, being 220,000 square feet, which is 4 times the average. During the first Supercenter, Walmart realized something very different versus all their other stores, which is this one never actually shut down, because it was so big at 220,000 square feet, they always had to hire overnight employees to stock the shelves, so because of that, the store was never actually officially closed like all their other stores were. While this was going on in 1988, Walmart realized just how much America changed from when they first launched in 1962, with one big example being women working, where in 1962 only 37% of women worked, but then by 1988 it reached a number at 57%, so because of that, more moms were working full-time and they needed late night options for grocery shopping. And then there was also the rise of the truck driver economy, where in 1970 America had 1 million full-time truck drivers, but by 1990 it reached 1.7 million people, and Walmart realized they can actually open up their parking lots to allow truckers to spend the night sleeping over, and they also wanted to have late night options for them to shop as well. There's also just more late night jobs, where it was reported in 1975 that about 15% of people had a job where they worked overnight, but now it was at 23% in 1988. That Walmart changed their entire model to have it so that all their stores began having overnight employees stocking shelves so they can allow people to shop 24/7, and Walmart became the place where people would go when they needed diapers at 1 in the morning and a bunch of other products, and it eventually started to make up 3% of all of Walmart's sales. But there were some problems, with the first one being that overnight employees were making 15% more on average, which wasn't enough to make up for the 3% increase in sales, and also their insurance rates went way up because accidents were more likely to happen at night. Never really profitable, and then they use COVID as the excuse to often. With that, I'm Charles Sproul. Subscribe, learn something.
What is Chop Chop Square and what goes on there?
Chop Chop Square is a place in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi, where literally after Friday prayers, according to the Islamic hudud punishments, where, you know, you get your right hand chopped off if you stole something with your right hand, your left hand chopped off if you've done that. They carry out those amputations or worse, beheadings in that area, and that's why it's known as Chop Chop Square. Saudi Arabia has a designated executioner whose job it is just to carry out these, you know, awful punishments on the weekends. So we had a Chop Chop Square light, if you will, where I lived in the city of Jeddah. It was deemed to be a little bit more liberal than Riyadh, thankfully. I think life in Riyadh would have been absolutely stifling, but we would hear of the same things. So you can go to a mosque on Friday, because Friday is the, you know, special prayer for Muslims. Then afterwards, you're welcome to go and see that.
Wow.
What happens if you have a country's population decline? What does that look like? Is it just that towns are half the size? That's not the case. It's that small towns that are less desirable to be in just disappear entirely and become abandoned. New York will be the
Big
last
cities
bastion
grow.
of wherever the population decline goes to.
Is Tokyo suffering?
Well, right. I mean, you look at Japan right now, and you look at the forecast for population movement within Japan, and the rural areas are absolutely dying, but the growth within Tokyo is continuing and will continue for a generation more. I call these magnet towns or magnet cities. Young people will gravitate to where there are jobs, where there are supermarkets, and the older people will be left, sadly, in these rural dying communities.
And you'll call it population triage, right? People look and they realize this town has no future. So they move to the places that will survive. In Bulgaria, Sofia is doing fine. I mean, in England, London does okay. Around the world, once you see it, you can't not see it, that low fertility societies often have thriving primate cities.
Something young people don't realize is that
before streaming, before YouTube, even before pirating, you would just see something on TV that was weird, and then you would describe it to people and they wouldn't believe you. They just wouldn't believe you. I saw Rick Moranis, who was like an actor in 80s and 90s kids movies. I saw him get into an argument with Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog left the room, and this guy pulls out a bowl like of herbs, and he starts crushing them, chanting demonically, and he summoned a demon. He literally summoned a demon. And I would tell this to people, and they would be like, I think you dreamed that you made that up, that you imagined it, but that didn't happen. But it absolutely did. Rick Moranis, like the Honey I Shrunk the Kids guy, he took out a bowl, crushed herbs, and summoned a demon after an argument with Kermit the Frog. And it was because he wanted to sing a medley, and Kermit told him he couldn't. That happened for real. And now you can just look that up. You can just look that up and watch it right now. But at the time when I was telling people, they just didn't believe me. And yeah, I'm still mad.
The truth of the matter is he was into women. Michael Jackson didn't have a problem with little boys. He had girlfriends. He was married several times. We had to hide that and go to our greatest lengths to not let the fans know he was married or who he was dating at the time. This is the biggest mistake Michael made, maybe. He was told by Motown Records, which is who discovered him and signed him up, never show anybody that you're married, that you have a girlfriend, or your sexuality. Whether you're gay or straight, don't do it because you'll cut your fan base off. We used to sneak the girls into his hotel suite so the fans and the media didn't notice. That was Michael's thing. Towards the end of his life, we used to say, I think it's about time now, because it's kind of backfiring with the age of social media coming out. Come out with your wife or your girlfriend. You need to show that you're into women. And then he obviously passed away. I had a big tabloid, the biggest in the world, call me from New York saying, Matt, we want to interview about these allegations and this documentary's come out about Michael. So sure. Why don't you interview his girlfriend who's done a best-selling book about her relationship with Michael? Why don't you interview her, interview this girl, this woman? So, oh yeah, I know. We know about the girlfriends, we know about the wives, but it goes against the narrative of the story of the world. And to generate advertisers to buy our newspapers and web clicks, that won't work, mate.
I'm pleased to announce, as of about 30 minutes ago,
looks pretty healthy to me.
We've reached agreement with the White House on a version of the Russian sanctions bill that they will support. It means it's going to become law. So when I get back to Washington, I'm going to go with Senator Blumenthal to the Republican and Democratic leader to see if we can find time to move this Russian sanctions package that would give tools to President Trump to help end this war. The road to ending this war, the road to peace, passes through Beijing more than it does Washington, Kyiv, or Moscow. China has an oversized influence. I'd like them to use their influence for the good of the world. I don't believe Putin is there yet, but it wouldn't take much to get him there. And the sooner we can have a dialogue about peace, the quicker this war is over. I've never been more optimistic than I am today that we have the formula to end this war. Help Ukraine be more lethal. Let those supporting Russia to know it's going to be a price to be paid if you keep doing it. And to try to find an off-ramp, not to humiliate Putin, but to end this war so that Ukraine will thrive and survive. We have a magic moment in time here. In the coming months, if we do this right, increase Ukraine's lethality, get people to help us with Putin rather than propping him up, we can end this war.
Why don't they remove it? It's making people sick. It's making me sick. My dad's 93, so you can imagine inside the house, it's hot. He can't go outside.
It's been a little over 3 weeks since the initial fire broke out right here at the Lineage Logistics warehouse on Union Pacific Avenue. And that work continues to seal that factory. As far as the smell,
go into your garbage, put your head in your garbage can, smell it for 7 days a week, and you tell me how you feel about that.
I can tell you firsthand, this community has been dealing with the fire, then the smoke, Then the smell. I mean, initially, the best way to describe this smell is if you left your refrigerator unplugged, let it sit there for 2 weeks at least, and then open the door for the first time, that's what everybody in this community has been smelling. Now that the heat is an added component, it has gotten exponentially worse depending on time of day. I'm wearing a mask, so I can't smell it as much, but the second I take this mask off, just getting whiffs of part of the building that is still exposed and hasn't been covered, it is definitely not pleasant and at times very, very unbearable. We've been told there's a rat infestation, and we've seen traps along the corridor of this building. Also the flies that we've had to swat even during our live shots and interviews when we are talking to people. And of course, the big question is, what is this going to pose as far as health concerns? So it is a community that we're talking about, Boyle Heights in East LA, that has been dealing with this for more than 3 weeks, and they want answers, they want transparency, and they want change. And many people that we've talked to want Lineage Logistics out of their neighborhood.
You know what's crazy? They're not gonna get they're not gonna get answers. They're not gonna even get heard. Because these politicians that we vote in don't care about our opinion. They're gonna act like they care and have a fundraiser. And you know, when it's vote time, they're really gonna care and say, we're gonna do this for you, we're gonna fix that, we're gonna have the camera out so you can ask me these questions, I'll answer. But when push comes to shove and things like this happen, and the community that is paying for everything for the city to run how it runs, we don't get answers. We don't even get heard. Can't get through to the mayor. You're going to talk to his secretary. You know what the secretary is going to do when they get off the phone? Back to Facebook. You know what I mean? So it's a damn shame. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you made it this far, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Y'all working on the dope video on my second video. I thought I would do like top 20 wildest conspiracies in America. Maybe we can do all over the world next time or something. That'd be pretty cool. But you know, I'm gonna have that going. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it today. It's already kind of late. My parents are here helping me watch the kids because my lady's out. But anyways, so yeah, that's the plan for the second channel. But I'm gonna have my latest video I did over there on the Mandela Effect pop up over here. Playlist is gonna pop up over here. Go down that rabbit hole, y'all. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow on Monday for the next one. Y'all have a good one. Later.